times to apply. Mr. Aaron, could I have you turn down your oh, thanks. There's a lot of background noise. Making the choice to spend money on post-secondary education pays off in the long run because you can get grants and scholarships to pay for post-secondary education while you're there. There are less expensive options for obtaining a post-secondary education. You or your parents can write it off on the taxes. The salary you will earn with a degree will pay back the cost of your college over your career. So look, making the choice to spend money on your post-secondary education, that means going to college, pays off in the long run because, which one do you guys think it is? You can get grants and scholarships to pay for most of it while you're there. There are less expensive options for obtaining a post-secondary education. You or your parents can write it off on your taxes. That's not true. Or the salary you will earn with a degree will pay back the cost of college over your career. Which one do you guys think it is? A, B, C, or D? Put it in chat. Which one do you guys think? Do you think you're going to make more money over the course of your career if you have a college degree? You think you'll make more money every year? I think you will. Yeah. Right, Alan. Good. Yeah. If you get a degree, you become an expert at something, right? And anybody who's an expert at something can command more money over their career. So whatever you end up doing in your life, I will advise you to just become an expert at something. And that way people will need you and you'll be able to say, hey, I'm an expert at this. I need such and such amount every time I do this thing for you. And that's what's going to make you a lot of money in your life. Okay, a 529 plan can help you save more money than a traditional savings account because it is linked to the stock market, it is given to you at a very young age. The interest rates are considerably better, it's tax-free. I didn't know the answer to this, but the answer is it's linked to the stock market. So basically, if you open up a 529 plan, you can basically fund a college education by investing not just in a bank account, but connect it to the stock market. So it'll be invested in stocks like Apple and Google, etc. And over time, that money grows a lot more than if it was just in a savings account. And the good thing is, if it's a 529 plan, the money you invest in that can be taken out tax-free when you're ready for school to pay for it. How about this one? Andrew doesn't want to spend a lot of money on student loans and doesn't qualify for grants. What is his best option for affording a bachelor's degree? He can enroll in a trade school and transfer his courses later. He can attend a specialized training program and transfer a couple of his courses. He can attend a local community college whose courses transferred to public four-year college, or none of these answers. Which one do you guys think? So he wants a bachelor's degree. What's the best move if he doesn't have a lot of money? I think a lot of you guys are going to plan on doing this. If I was you, I would. Aren't most of you guys going to go to a community college for 2 years for free and then transfer to a four-year college? And that way you're going to save more money doing it this way than doing all 4 years at a university and paying all that extra money. So yeah. And which of these additional costs will most likely be the most expensive? Textbooks and supplies, transportation, room and board, or academic counseling? What do you guys think? Which one's going to cost you the most if you go to college? Your textbooks and supplies, getting to and from school, living at school and having like food to eat, or counseling, academic counseling? Which one do you guys think? A, B, C, or D? Textbooks in a room. Well, that's two. Textbooks and supplies or room and board. What do you guys think? Joe says textbooks in room, but he's not sure. Anybody else have a guess? He says maybe room.
Yep.
A, textbooks and supplies. They're expensive, but they're not as expensive as room and board. Yeah, it costs money. It costs a lot of money to stay at a school.
Right. I think the average monthly women.
Think about life after high school.
Hold on.
What are you most stressed about? Take this quiz and find out.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Is usually between like $900 and $1,300 a month.
Wow, for room and board.
Board with 3 meals a day can be very, very expensive. It can be the equivalent of maybe what your tuition would run. But if you get Cal Grant A or B, some of those monies can cover those costs. And another thing that's happened in the last 7 years, which has saved students a tremendous amount of money, is book rental. So the minute you find out about what classes you're taking in the books, you can go to a book rental site online, or the school will tell you, and so you won't have to buy new books. You can buy rental books for the semester, and they ship them to your UPS. A lot of times I'll give you a shipping sticker to send them back, but there's specific dates where you have to have them back on time. But you can save a significant amount of money on books doing that.
Yeah. And when I went to the college, I mean, I didn't do as well as I should have done in high school. I didn't get any scholarships or anything. So I just stayed at home and lived with my folks and went to University of Toledo. It was like 5 miles away. I saved money by not living on campus. And I always, when I went to the bookstore, I always looked for the books that were used because they were like half price. All right, so let's look at this. When it comes to continuing my education, I think most about taking the right career path, being away from people I know, figuring out how to pay for my education. So put the one that is the right answer for you. Let's say money. How about this one? If I were to take a year off, it would be to discover what I want to do with my life, work and help my family out, or work and save money for my education. That would be bad. Try to save up some dough so I wouldn't be stressed out about going to school. When it comes to paying for my education, I've got it covered between my savings and my family's. I plan to study and work so I can pay as I go. I will rely heavily on student loans.
I'm not sure. Can you reshare your page?
Every week, something. All right, let's keep going. Okay, here we are. Okay, so when it comes to paying education, let's say work and study. But you put whatever's right for you. When it comes to deciding what to study, there are too many options. I think my family can help me decide. I need to pick something that isn't too expensive. So put what you're thinking about. There are way too many options. But you know what? When you go to school, even if you don't know what you're going to study, you'll figure it out. Because something's going to spark you. You're going to have to take a bunch of general ed classes anyway, and you're going to run into new people, new professors. You're going to have conversations with different people, and something's going to spark your interest, and you're going to be like, oh, what's that about? And guarantee there's going to be other people that know more about it than you because they're a little bit older, or they're the professor or something. And little by little, you're going to latch onto something that kind of like goes up your alley that you know about, or you may already know what you want to do, and you'll just start following it, and it'll take care of itself. So you don't, I was freaked out when I started college. Everybody is, but you know what? It works out, and you just got to go forward, and everything finds a way. Thinking ahead, I'm most excited about finding something really passionate about, making my family proud, not having to worry about money once I get a great career. So put whatever that is for you. Hit next.
Not having enough money for your education is stressing you out. This means you are very aware of the costs of education, and that's a good start. Learning about more affordable education options and the many ways to pay for education is the next step. Let's talk to a guidance counselor to learn more.
Hi, I'm Mr. Rowe. It's great to see you.
I heard you were thinking about life after high school, and I wanted to show you something before you decide what path is right for you. Continuing your education can be expensive, but it can pay off. When you graduate from high school, you have different options when it comes to working versus continuing your education. The choice you make will impact how much money you'll earn over your lifetime.
Let's find out about that.
Select the numbered icons to see how different levels of education may impact your total earnings over your lifetime. At age 30, if you've got a bachelor's degree, you would be earning less money than someone who went straight into the workforce. This is because you likely had less time to earn more money and accumulated student debt.
That was true too. I knew guys out of high school that went and got jobs in factories back in Ohio. They were building transmissions for trucks at 18. And they were making like, $30 an hour, $25 an hour, which to me was, back then was like, man, they had brand new cars. They were buying houses and everything. I was a little bit jealous because here I was in school, broke, barely, living with my parents. And they were, working all day long, making good money. But at 30, things kind of started to make a change. And you see at 45, let's look at the difference then.
At age 45, with a bachelor's degree, you are now earning more money overall than others with lesser degrees. This is because you are likely earning a higher salary, which makes up for entering the workforce later. At age 60, your total lifetime earnings with a bachelor's degree will far exceed the total earnings of all lesser degrees. Your higher salary due to your degree continues to pay off over your lifetime.
So it's like the tortoise and the hare, The rabbit starts out fast, but little by little, steady as she goes, the turtle makes up and wins the race.
So, continuing your education is expensive, but it can more than pay for itself in the long run. With that said, there are ways to make your education more affordable. Let's take a look at what you can do, starting in 9th grade to start saving money and to qualify for grants and scholarships. A 529 plan is an education savings plan that has tax benefits. This can make a big difference over time. Schools and organizations may use your GPA to determine if you will receive merit awards or scholarships. Many scholarships require at least a 3.0 GPA. Being involved in extracurricular activities can make you stand out in the application process and lead to scholarships and funding for school.
So when you're applying for school, you want to think about all of these things.
Let's look closer at just a few clubs and extracurricular activities you can join that can help you get scholarships. These are some clubs our school offers. Select the 2 clubs you're most interested in from the list below. Scholarships often take work in the form of writing an essay or even winning a contest. Select the scholarships that you want to apply to, given the requirements and award money. Here's approximately how much money you could have if you were awarded scholarships you wanted to apply for.
That's not bad.
Starting to think about your savings, GPA and extracurriculars that could qualify you for grants and scholarships is a great first step. I hope this information will help guide your decision. Thanks for coming by. A family member has offered to take you to see some schools you might be interested in attending. Take a look at the options below and decide where to go.
And yesterday I posted something, if you were interested in being an electrician, I put it in the Schoology group. Trade Tech has a good program, and I think they're starting up another one with the union actually pays you to learn to be an electrician.
Hey, are you thinking of coming to this trade school to get career and technical education? It's a great place to get hands-on work experience and training for a specific job. Trade schools can include focuses on automotive technology, culinary arts, cosmetology, and a number of other areas. Hope to see you around.
High school diploma. Doesn't cost too much. In fact, it's free for the first 2 years. Isn't Trade Tech free, Miss Zaragoza?
Yes, it is.
So that's free. So you don't. So you're basically learning for free. And if you stay at home, you just basically just need to get a train pass or a bus pass, a metro pass, and then maybe books. That's really all you'd have to worry about. And you get your associate's degree. Or if let's say you go to West LA or Santa Monica.
Hi, you're new here. Well, it's been almost 2 years for me, and I could get my associate's degree. But I'm going to transfer to a 4-year university. By going here first, I saved money, stayed close to my family, and it was easier to get into a 4-year university. I'm almost out of here, but let me know if you decide to attend, and I'll show you around. Bye.
And this is exactly what it is like in college. When you're around people that are older than you, that have been there a year before you, they're going to show you a lot of things that you're confused about. It's all going to work out, so don't be worried. So you need to have your high school diploma. Again, it's free if you stay in California, if you go to a community college here in LA. You don't have to worry about room and board if you stay at home. The books could be a little expensive. You just need to find a way to get to and from school. There's going to be a few things. So even if you had a little side job, you should be okay. And then you're going to get your associate's degree. My niece is going to graduate tomorrow from Valley College in San Bernardino with her associate's degree. She's planning on going to Cal State San Bernardino up there. I'm not sure what she's going to study yet. I think she's still up in the air. I'm pretty proud of her. Took her about 3 years to get that far. COVID and some other stuff. But she stuck with it and she finally made it. Or if you go to a public university like UCLA or Cal State.
And over here is a typical dorm room. You can choose to live here and eat in the dining hall to have the true college experience, or you can choose to live off campus. Either way, at the end of 4 to 5 years, hopefully, you'll be walking across the stage to get your bachelor's degree.
You need to have these. This is changing too. Some of these.
UCs have gotten rid of that.
Right. So your application, interview, letters of recommendation, and I've done a few of those for people this year to get into a 4-year college. In-state is a lot cheaper than going out of state. Always, always, always. And again, if you stay home,
It's the housing.
yeah, you want to stay home. Stay with your folks as long as you can.
Yes, please do.
Help out around the house. Make them glad you're staying there.
Or move in with 6 of your girlfriends and share 1 bedroom with 2 sets of bunk beds or 3 sets of bunk beds.
No. But you'll end up with your bachelor's degree. So there's a way to do this that's not going to sleep. You know, and I know people who went and did the National Guard or did the Coast Guard Reserve. And what they did is they went to a 2-month boot camp. I forget how long it was. 8-week boot camp. Yeah, I guess that's 2 months. And then they every month they had to go to 1 weekend a month they had to go to drill, and then 2 weeks every summer they had to go to a drill. That was it, and they were prepared if they were ever called up for any kind of action that needed to take place. But all of their school, all their books were free. And so I was working in these restaurants, and my buddies were like, "Yep, I'm doing National Guard." I'm like, sometimes I wish I would have done the same. And then finally, the most expensive thing was to go to a private university.
All of you have come here to see if this university is a good fit. I know it's expensive, but I think it's the best university there is. We have a lot of scholarships and grants, so don't let the price tag scare you off. Just keep your grades up and get involved so you can get that financial aid.
Same thing for the 4-year. The price tag is pretty expensive. Yearly. 4 times 35,000, you can see where that would get you. Room and board's always expensive. Still have your bachelor's. Okay. Moving on.
What a great trip. After visiting each institution, which one do you think is right for you?
Well, let's pick the community college since that's where most of you probably want to go when you graduate. And again, see this price tag? The state of California is so generous. This is zero. This is going to be zero for you guys. This is so incredible. If you're in other states, the cost would be much higher. So, you know, take advantage of what California is offering. It's young people.
Depending on what you want out of your education, any of these institutions can work for you. Now, let's take a look at some of the ways you can help cover the cost of your education.
Now that you have an idea of how much your education can cost you, let's research your funding options. Scholarships and grants, federal work study, federal student loans, and private loans. Scholarships and grants give you money to pay for school expenses without needing to pay it back. Scholarships are mainly merit-based, and grants are need-based. You've already selected scholarships based on your club, so now, let's look at grants.
So grants is money that they give you because they say that, you know, your parents don't make a lot of money, or, you know, you might be the first one in your family to go to college. And so there are lots of people in this world that want to bring more and more people into colleges because we need to have our graduates look like our communities. We want we want people of all backgrounds to have college degrees and to be in the upper echelon of society, the managers, the people, the movers, the shakers. We need people from all backgrounds.
Grants are typically need-based. This means you must qualify through financial need. Grants offer free money and can help pay for colleges, universities, and technical or trade schools. Select each tab to learn more about grants offered by the federal government. These are primarily for undergraduate students. How much funding you can get depends on your need, cost of education, and other factors. These grants help low-income undergraduate students who need a lot of financial aid to help pay for college. Students who agree to teach in a high-need field in a low-income community for 4 years may be eligible for these grants.
My nephew out in San Bernardino, he teaches, he got his degree in education. He teaches middle school history. And he works in a school that's one of the poorest schools in his district. And because he's been there 10 years, they're going to pay off the remainder of his student loan.
Wow.
Yeah, so that worked for him. And he loves it there. He's like, I wouldn't rather be anywhere else. I love the food there. So it really, really worked out for him.
Students whose parent or guardian died as a result of military service after September 11, 2001, or in Iraq or Afghanistan, and who meet other eligibility requirements may qualify for these grants.
There's that too.
Now that you know more about each grant that the government offers, think about your personal situation and select the grants that you think you'd qualify for.
Let's try this.
Congratulations. You have some more free money to use towards your education.
You need to apply. You never know unless you apply.
And when you do the FAFSA, because the parents have to list their income, I think 4 of our students here have already received Pell Grants and over $5,000. That's free money. They're going to break it up half of the first semester, the rest of the second semester. So the Pell Grant is for low-income students, and you can apply for that Pell Grant any time of the year. So even if you're putting the FAFSA in late to go, even though you're going to go to LA Trade Tech or Santa Monica, you will be considered for the Pell Grant. But do it quick. Do it as soon as you can. If you haven't talked to me or the CCS, get a hold of us, because I think 4 students have already gotten over 5,000. And in addition to that, they don't already have their education paid for through the Youth Promise program. So these kids are sitting with some good money that'll help them with their books and food and transportation.
Wow, that's awesome. So they have free school plus $5,000.
Yeah.
Can't ask for anything better than that.
A federal work-study program is another option to help pay for your education. If you need financial assistance, you may be eligible for work-study as a part of your federal financial aid package. If you choose to participate, you'll work part-time to earn money for your education while you're in school. Some of the qualifications are listed below. Use the checklist to see if you qualify. Great. It looks like you're eligible for federal work study. Remember, you can only work part-time and up to your work-study award amount. Let's say you were awarded $4,500.
It looks like you're off to a good start, but you may need some more money to cover additional education costs. Let's explore some other options you have to pay for your education.
Federal loans are a good choice to cover any remaining education costs you may have. These government loans have to be repaid in full, plus any additional interest you may owe over the loan period. The interest rates on these loans tend to be lower than private loans and are offered at a fixed rate.
These federal loans, if you stack them up too much, can get really high.
There are two main types of federal loans: subsidized and unsubsidized loans. Subsidized loans are based on need and are available to undergraduates. You don't have to pay interest while in school, but there's a lower borrowing limit than for unsubsidized loans. Unsubsidized loans are available for those with and without financial need and can extend to graduate school. You will have to stay on top of interest payments, but you'll get a higher borrowing limit.
So if they give you $30,000, they're also adding interest to that over time. So the amount that you end up owing back could be higher and higher over time if you don't pay it back quickly.
Now that you know a little bit about each loan type, sort the characteristics of each type of loan into the right category.
If you qualify based on financial need, I think that's going to be here, right? When you're an undergraduate, there. You qualify no matter what, you're probably over here. Undergraduate or graduate, probably over here. Interest is paid by the U.S. Department of Education while you're in school. That's over here. While you have to pay interest while you're in school. That'd be this one. Higher borrowing limit than the other type. This one. This one goes over here. You did it! Hopefully you're following along.
We all did it.
I hope so.
If, after using all other options and other ways to reduce your education costs, you still need additional money, you may look into private loans.
Ooh, not the private loans.
Banks, credit unions, and other lenders may offer private loans for your education, but they generally cost more than federal loans, and the interest rates can change over time. Be sure to fully understand your loan terms and make a plan to pay your loan back on time.
It's important to research and use free money and government-provided loans before considering anything else. Make sure you have a plan for covering all of your estimated expenses before deciding on your perfect educational institution.
And in your cases, you guys, if most of you are planning to stay home while you're going to school and maybe having a side job, you should be able to swing this, no issue. You should be able to get to school and back. You should have enough money for books. If you play your cards correctly with what it seems like you're being offered in California, and you stay on top of your game and take it seriously, you should, in a couple of years, be in a good situation. And then you can make a decision as to whether you want to just do your associate or you want to continue on a 4-year, or maybe you've just done your 2-year at a trade school, and now you're going to get out in the workforce and build on your experience and make more money that way. So there's all kinds of directions. You just have to take it seriously and make sure you know how you're playing the game.
In order to qualify for federal student aid and a lot of other scholarships and grants, you need to fill out the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA. You've decided to print out a copy of the FAFSA to review. Let's take a brief look at select parts of the FAFSA form to learn more.
This is where Miss Saragosa is going to take over.
Select the magnifying glass icons to learn more about the FAFSA form.
Okay, so the FAFSA form is going to require information about the student, identify the student as being a dependent, meaning you're financially dependent upon one or two of your parents. They're going to ask for your parent information, your parents' tax information, if they do taxes, and if not, if your parents don't file taxes, that's okay. If they don't have a social security number, that's okay. If you have a social security number, we use the FAFSA. If the student does not, we use the CADR, and it's to determine what your financial need is. So this goes to the Student Aid Commission in Washington, D.C. or Virginia, and they go through all your records, your parent records, and they say, okay, parents, it's called Parent Financial Contribution, I think it's PFC, and they'll say, oh, this parent makes a lot of money. They can give the kid 20% of whatever money they need for school. But most of our students here, they'll say, oh, the parent contribution is either zero or very, very limited. So let's see what the student qualifies for. There are California grants A, B, and C. Two of them are used for academic institutions. The third one, C, is used for technical school. They will give you money to go to cosmetology school, to go to LA Trade Tech if you're going to do a 2-year or under apprenticeship training program. But free money to go to any of the city colleges locally, Santa Monica, West LA, El Camino. You have to do this form. So we don't want you graduating. And you're going to raise your hand and say, oh no, I just graduated from Chevy. No, you have to have this form in.
Let's go ahead and see what the little icons are so we can move forward on this.
In the first part of step 1, you'll fill out your identifying information. It's important that your information is accurate. All U.S. males aged 18 through 25 must register for military service, with limited exceptions. If you have not registered, you can get registered through your FAFSA.
Yep, I remember when I had to do that, you guys. Welcome to the club.
Select the magnifying glass icons to learn more about the FAFSA form. This question is easy to miss, but if you are interested in applying for the Federal Work-Study Program, remember to check yes.
Yeah, that would be like you could work at the library or somewhere on campus and they'll pay for, they'll give you money for school.
And you don't have to work during midterms and finals.
Yeah, it'd be an excellent job.
To and from school. And then you get to meet a bunch of people on campus and directors and professors.
Yeah, I knew a guy that worked at the college bowling alley.
He got paid more than minimum wage, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he liked it. It was fun for him.
Step 2 of the FAFSA asks you questions about your tax returns and other financial information. Have that information with you when filling out this section. Select the magnifying glass icons to learn more about the FAFSA form. When filling out the FAFSA, you are either dependent or independent. If you meet at least one qualifier in step 3, FAFSA will classify you as independent. In this case, you will report your own financial information. If you are married, you'll also report your spouse's information.
I think most of you guys will be dependent since you mostly all live alone.
If you do not meet at least one qualifier for being independent, you are likely considered a dependent. As a dependent on your FAFSA, you will report your and your parents' financial information. The rest of the FAFSA requires you to submit your and your family's financial information. At the end of the FAFSA, you'll list the colleges you're planning to apply to. Then sign and submit the form. You're finished.
Guys, it takes about 40
Now that you
minutes.
know more about the FAFSA form, it's time to answer some questions. Choose the Select button next to the area in the form that gives you the information you need to answer each question. If you can't print the FAFSA form, how else can you fill it out? Correct. You can also fill out the FAFSA form online by going to fafsa.gov. What's the earliest you can submit your FAFSA application?
Down there it says.
Correct. Every year, the earliest you can submit your FAFSA application is October 1. Where can you find the deadlines for state aid?
There it is. All those symbols. So California, so right there.
Correct. Notice that there are many different deadlines for state aid. Always look and see which ones have priority consideration. In these cases, the earlier you apply, the more likely you are to receive aid. You are filing your FAFSA form close to the deadline. How should you file?
Online, right?
Correct. If it's close to the deadline, the fastest way to submit your form is online. If you need to view your tax information, what tool can you use? Correct. If you've already filed a tax return, you may be able to use the IRS data retrieval tool to view and transfer your tax information directly into your FAFSA form. After completing your FAFSA, you will have to wait to receive your student aid report. Review these tips to learn more.
Almost done, guys.
After you submit your FAFSA, the Federal Student Aid Office will take 3 days to 3 weeks to process the information and send out your student aid report.
Submit it 3 days to 3 weeks.
Review your student aid report and make sure your information is accurate. Also, note your expected family contribution. This is how much you are expected to contribute towards your education.
If I was you guys and I got this report back, I would bring it by the school and go over it with Miss Saragosa one more time.
Your student aid report will be sent to schools you applied to, where federal and non-federal student aid and award packages will be determined. Make sure you contact your college and ask about additional financial aid. You need to update your FAFSA every year to ensure you are maximizing your financial aid.
Remember when my stepson was in school, we had to do this every year. Had the little pin and all that.
You should contact schools to see if they may waive application fees and to see if you qualify for school-specific financial aid. You've learned about many different tools and tricks to make applying for and financing higher education easier. Here are a few things to remember. As early as 9th grade, start exploring ways to reduce the cost of secondary education. By 10th grade, start exploring different types of higher education institutions and think about which is best for you. In 11th grade, research and narrow down the different kinds of financing you will apply for, and think about taking AP/IB classes or classes at your local community college to start earning transferable credits. Finally, in 12th grade, fill out the FAFSA. Start looking for scholarships and grants, and apply to schools. Even if you haven't done these things yet, start doing them now to get yourself on the right track. So, you think you know the right path for financing higher education? Well, a couple of students are here to get your help. Review their profiles, and then help them collect the right items to match their needs. Look closely at each person's profile and select the character you want. To be successful in the game, it is important to know their profile information.
We're going to be Joaquin White today. 11th grade, policy activism 3.0, late speech.
Super Joaquin is ready to prepare for financing his education. Use your arrow keys or select your answer to help Joaquin fly through the right option based on what you know about him.
I'm just clicking on any of them because I can't. It's going too fast.
Too fast.
Some things to remember about Joaquin include that he should exhaust all of his other options.
All right, so here's your assessment. This is the part to get you your points. You have 9 minutes So let's look at it together. Which of the following is not true about the free application for federal student aid? The earliest you commit your FAFSA is January 1st of each year. Now we know it's October 1st, right?
Right.
So that's not true. So let's put that one good. How about this one? Andrew doesn't want to spend a lot of money on student loans and does not qualify for grants. What is his best option for affording a bachelor's degree? Let's see, he can enroll in a trade school and transfer his courses later. He can attend a specialized training program and transfer a couple of his courses. I like this one. He can attend a local community college whose courses transfer to public four-year college. That way his first 2 years are low cost or free. Textbooks, transportation, and room and board are all additional costs for attending a college or university. Included? No. Included? No. No. They're additional costs, so you have to always remember textbooks and room and board and transportation are always extra. Federally funded grants require the student to perform volunteer work for local community agency, have a membership in a high school club, have financial needs only,